Hello everybody, welcome back to the QFP on CBS. My name is Thaddeus Johnson. We are being joined by Luke Cheesebro, Tyler Richmond, aka Timmy, and Noah Johnson. This is the talk show where we talk about NFL league leaders, stats, and standings in the NFL. Let's just get it started.
These are the weekly awards. The NFC Offensive Player of the Week was Danny Amendola with 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. The NFC Defensive Player was T. Thomas with 11 tackles, 1 fumble return touchdown. Now, the AFC Offensive Player of the Week was Le'Veon Bell with 17 carries for 111 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. And the AFC Defensive Player of the Week was S. Williams for 5 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 pick six. That's the weekly awards. Back to Thaddeus.
Let's talk about Le'Veon Bell real quick. He had 4. He basically carried that Jets offense to that win.
Yes,
and
that is what I wanted to say as well. Tej right there, I was thinking as soon as he said it, Le'Veon Bell is the staple of that Jets offense, and he's going to be there for a while, I would assume.
Hopefully, he is getting on that
lower
side of
Sam Darnold just isn't it, I don't believe. He did have a decent game, however, no touchdowns.
But Danny Amendola, though. No, had a good year in the NFL for a good piece. 200 reception yards. No. Was a staple in that.
Surprises.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the staples in that Patriots offense a few years ago, but kind of fell off after he went to the Dolphins. But now, good comeback game, question mark. Maybe have a good year.
Great start to the season here. Maybe he will become the receiver he once was with Tom Brady throwing to him.
All right, let's get into the league leaders. Rounding out the top 5 of the passing leaders in the NFL are Drew Brees, Dalton, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Deshaun Watson, all having over 280 passing yards, with Drew Brees at the very top of that list with 350 and 4 touchdowns. Let's talk about them real quick.
I can't believe Andy Dalton is up there that high this early in the season, especially against a star-studded Seattle Seahawks defense.
Yes, Dalton really had a good game against that Seattle Seahawks defense. That whole Seattle team just really just choked in that second half, especially Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson really choked in that second half. But let's just go on down to the rushing leaders with Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, and Matt Breida running out the top 5. And Joe Mixon is at the top of that list for the first time in his career.
The Bengals' backfield is starting off great this season.
But let's get to Josh Jacobs, the rookie out of Alabama, had a rushing touchdown of 74 yards.
I like this guy. This kid, he looks good. I think he's going to have a long, great career to come in the future.
Yes, and then Le'Veon Bell with the 4 touchdowns as well. You cannot get away from that. Then out to the receiving yards. We got Danny Amendola, Tyler Eifert, Cole Beasley, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Trey Quinn. Trey Quinn should not be up there, but guess what? He is. How do y'all feel about that?
I don't even know who this guy is, might I say.
Me neither, but he's
never heard of him.
He's a good young man.
Until we were looking at the stats before this, never heard of this guy's name. He's probably just
Mr. Irrelevant a few years ago.
I don't even know what team he's on. What team is he on?
He's on the Redskins.
I don't know their quarterback, so...
I think it might be Case Keenum.
Dwayne Haskins or Case Keenum? Case Keenum, One-Leg McGee.
One-Leg McGee.
And Dwayne Haskins is actually one of my favorite younger quarterbacks, as I am a huge Ohio State fan.
Yes, Dwayne Haskins is a big, bulky boy back in the backfield with him. But as of right now, Case Keenum is their starter. Let's just go on to the defensive side of the ball. In terms of tackles, we got Bobby Wagner, KJ White, Levante David, Thomas Davis Sr., and Matt Milano. Now, 2 of the top 5 are Seattle Seahawks on that Seattle Seahawks team.
And they were both the top 2 tied with 15 tackles each, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they are. And 30 tackles for loss.
In spite of that, they still got smoked by our Bengals, might I add.
The Bengals did smoke them, and mostly because of our defense, but none of them
because of the defense. Yeah, it was not our offense mainly, except for Joe Mixon, and Ivor had a pretty good game as well. I'm here to bring you all the NFC standings for this week. Very basic standings, as is only week 2, or we're going into week 2. Starting off the NFC North, the Bears, and Lions are both 1-0. Surprisingly, the worst two teams in that division are leading it. The Bears upset the Packers with a game-winning field goal, winning 17-14. All right, and over to the NFC South, the Falcons, Panthers, and Saints are all 1-0, and the Bucks lose like always. Falcons do upset the Vikings, though. That was very surprising in my eyes. And on to the NFC East, we have the Cowboys and Eagles leading at 1-0. The Redskins and Giants lose, so this is very expected. Maybe the Cowboys. I don't like the Cowboys. I'll keep biased out of this. And over to the West, we have the 49ers leading after murdering the Buccaneers. The 49ers are the Bengals' next opponent, and the Seahawks are down in those standings as they just got upset by Cincinnati. And slaughtered, might I add.
They did get slaughtered indeed. Now let's go on to the AFC North standings. We got the Browns and the Bengals leading off right now as 1 and 2 as the Steelers and the Ravens. And then you got the Steelers and the Ravens down at number 3 and 4, which the Ravens did end up losing by only 7 points. But you know what? It's the Ravens.
Did they lose to the Dolphins?
I think they ended. I think they did.
That is kind of sad.
Now on to the AFC South, which is very, very surprising. We got the Jaguars, Colts, Titans, and Texans all tied for last in the division because they're 0-1. They all lost.
That is pathetic.
And just think, the only bad team in my eyes are the Jaguars, and they lost. I mean, they're top right now. As of right now, they're in the top of the division, and even the Titans and the Texans won. Yeah, even though they lost, don't get excited for Gardner Minshew anytime soon. Then we got to the AFC East. We got the Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets up there. Jets are 0-1, but the Patriots are third in the division at 1-0 because they only won by 30. That was the game of the week. Then we got down to the AFC West. We got the Chargers, Raiders, and Chiefs all 1-0, and then the Broncos down 0-1. Now, with this Chiefs team, do you think they will do anything big this year, guys?
I believe the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. I say they beat the 49ers in a close game.
Yes, Pat Mahomes is going off. He's an amazing quarterback.
Patrick Mahomes I think he had his worst game all year. He's never gonna have a worse game this year. Only had 150 yards, I believe. Yeah. And my second early prediction is the Steelers are gonna get slapped multiple times this year and aren't even gonna make the playoffs.
All right, on to Luke with the surprise games of the week.
The surprise game of the week for me is that Miami upset Baltimore, scoring 28 in the first half and holding off the Ravens' comeback late in the fourth. Ended up winning by 7. Another surprising game, though, the Cincinnati Bengals slaughter Seattle in Seattle, having 2 pick sixes and a solid game from Andy Dalton aside from his picks.
I mean, it was good to watch those picks unfold. I mean, being a Bengals fan like we are, just to be there in person was amazing to be able to watch those picks.
I did watch the game, and I heard Timmy wet his pants, I'm pretty sure. I heard
multiple times, actually.
Through the ground.
Oh, and Timmy, one thing.
Screamed out of his...
Timmy, before we go any further, how is Melissa doing?
She is. No.
I've got word already before Thaddeus even opened his mouth. Someone told me not to talk about this midget stuff again.
Alrighty.
Alright.
On to the Bengals corner. We're being joined by Luke, me, and Timmy. We're all the Bengals fans here. Noah is not a Bengals fan.
No, it does
He's
not
a
count.
Steelers
His
fan.
opinion does not matter.
He does not count. But let's get straight into this. Dalton had a really good game, putting up 302 yards. He looked very solid in that first half. Did throw a little bit of bad passes in that second half. But what's y'all opinions on Dalton so far?
I think this is probably going to be one of his better games of the season. Even though it was against a great defense, next week he faces an even better one. I don't think he's going to perform this great consistently, but he will have his fair share of good games, and the Bengals will win 8 games or more, I believe.
And if you take a close look at him, Andy Dalton did do some really good throws, in that first half like that.
He did hit A.J. Green a little less than we thought, but they hit him for good yards.
A.J. Green did only have 4 receptions in that game. And one person, as you said, Luke, they are playing a really good defense next week in the 49ers.
But
Nick
it is at
Bosa.
home.
Nick Bosa,
Yeah, Nick Bosa is
went
going to
to
wreak
Ohio
havoc on
State.
whoever our left tackle is.
They went
I do
to
like Nick
Ohio
Bosa.
State.
But our offensive line is dog crap.
Bobby Hart is going to die. All right, let's get into the rushing stats. We have Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard in the backfield. Joe Mixon had 30 rushes with 126 yards, no touchdowns with a long of 27. Now, I just want to let you all know, Joe Mixon did have a bad first half, but he did step it up in the second half.
He stepped it up in the second half when they needed to ice the game.
He
Those
did ice
fumbles
the
did
game.
really hurt him.
Yeah, if
that
we did
one
not get
fumble.
those pick sixes, we would have lost. Because
Yeah,
of Joe
'cause
Mixon.
the
Yes,
fumble.
but it does not matter as Russell Wilson choked the game single-handedly.
Single-handedly choked the game.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yes, Tyler Eifert did have 134 yards. Thank you for putting that up, Noah. He had
Wow,
11
Noah did
catches.
something nice for the podcast.
He had 134 yards and a long of 28. Now, like I said,
No
AJ
touchdowns,
Green,
though.
no touchdowns receiving wise, other than Giovanni Bernard.
Bernard
With
not,
that was a
not
good
great
catch.
rushing.
Not great rushing,
Had
but
a great
he is
catch and
had.
run. I saw that flat route he ran, and then he hit the juke move and bounced off another tackler into the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, Gio did have a good game in terms of scrimmage. Like, he had a good game
Yes.
in terms of scrimmage.
Total scrimmage yards. Not a great rushing game, but
Now
he
let's
didn't
get
need to
into
have a good
Alden
rushing
Tate, the first-year
yes.
player
One
out
of my favorite receivers.
Florida State. Bulky receiver.
I like
He
what
went up
this
and caught a
kid brings.
catch. I do
Very
too. I
big
like.
guy. He's like a younger AJ Green, just not as athletic.
And as Timmy said, a lighter-skinned AJ Green, which made no sense because they are both African American.
All right. That is very weird, Timmy. Why
But
would
John
you say
Ross
there's-
did catch some balls
There's
in this half. In this
John Ross,
first game.
I don't know. John Ross is probably going to have ankle surgery again.
No,
If
he has.
As long as Tyler Eifert has back surgery.
Speaking of John Ross, he does have a broken collarbone, out for 7 weeks.
Oh, he is. Well, that is not good.
Yeah, that is a
Oh,
sad
yeah, I remember
moment.
the commercial for John Ross. Very.
He did get hit by a car.
Remember
on
to
his
call
way to
that
the-
1-800 number. Yeah, he just scratched his arm on the pavement, or the turf, and then on his way out, he did get railed by a Prius, and he is no longer in commission for the next few weeks.
Can we talk about Tyler Boyd? No, can we talk
Tyler
about
Boyd?
Tyler Boyd?
Tyler
played
Boyd,
77
very
downs.
disappointing. He's one of
77
my
downs.
disappointing players this week. He played as many downs as AJ Green.
You know
Did
what?
not
Let's
catch a
go
ball.
to Luke's
Alright, I'm
disappointment.
going to start with Aaron Rodgers here. Probably the most disappointing quarterback. He is a very talented quarterback, but this week he only went 11 for 18, not passing the ball very much, only getting 140 yards with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Now, let me say about Aaron Rodgers, he does have poor receiving aside from Devontae Adams. Jimmy Graham, not the man he used to be, but I just want to say, get off me, Joe. Alright, now into the halfbacks. A lot of disappointing halfbacks this week with star running backs Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson having rough games, with each at just under 30 yards, averaging only around 2 yards per carry. And also a poor receiving performance from the veteran receiver Larry Fitzgerald, who had a rough game with only 8 yards on 2 catches. However, still grabbed the touchdown in that game. They still lost to the Lions, unfortunately. And Julio Jones, known as one of the best receivers in the league, only caught 2 passes for about 23 yards. Now I want to say this, as a Bengals fan, Tyler Boyd, you suck. Did not catch a ball on 77 downs. Never caught 1 pass. Played the whole daggone game, didn't catch 1 pass. And our disappointing player on the defensive side of the ball this week is Tyrann Mathieu, who had 7 opportunities at pass plays in the air. He did not deflect nor intercept one of them. Went 0 for 7 on balls he had to play on. Against the garbage Jags offense, might I add. Nearly losing the game, but they held on by 2 points.
Can we talk about Tyrann Mathieu for a second?
He's supposed to be one of the better defensive players, but he has fallen off ever since he joined this Chiefs team.
7 playable balls in the air, all caught. Might I
Very
add,
pathetic.
against Gardner Minshew.
Yes, Gardner Minshew. The only thing he's known for is his mustache. He's not a great quarterback.
You know what? Maybe, just maybe, Gardner Minshew will be the next Tom Brady. But let's just get straight into our thoughts on the whole entire league. Who do y'all think will win the Super Bowl this year? Or out of week 1? Just out of week 1.
Well, I'm going to stick with the Chiefs. Now,
Bold
after
statement.
that Bengals performance, they are proving to be a staple in this AFC North division. It is very early, as the only teams are 1-0 and 0-1. There's not really much to go off of. Some could be luck games, some could be proved to be great games, or games that were earned by the skills of the players.
Bold statements about both of y'all. Good statement by Noah. But let's get into the weekly pick'em for us. Who do y'all have going for the Bengals and the Niners? How do y'all seeing that go?
I think it's going to be a lower scoring game this week than last week for the Bengals especially. Maybe the 49ers not so much, as the Bengals defense is very poor. However, the Bengals offensive line will not be able to hold up with D Ford and Nick Bosa preying on Andy Dalton this week. I say they get at least 5 sacks combined.
So you're going with the Niners. What about y'all? What about you guys?
I say the Niners win by 15 points.
All right, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. I'm gonna say the Bengals by 3. I think they can hold off the Niners.
What, high scoring, low scoring?
Low scoring game, I'm gonna say 15 to 18. I'm thinking about that in that range. Highest possible score would be 28 maybe. But
for either team.
You know what, Tim? What do you got going on over there?
I'm going to be like the oddball here, all you guys. I think the 49ers are going to put 30 on the Bengals. It's going to be 10 to 30. Just the Bengals, they always score a touchdown, and then they'll score a field goal. And, yeah, it's just going to be 30 to 10. I feel like the 49ers are going to just spank the Bengals like a child. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, so
that is very abusive in your family.
I'm actually a Bengals fan.
Our wiki pickings are split 3 to 1. You know that? So, you know.
How about is there any other important games we need to predict?
Yes. Vikings Packers.
Oh, that's a good one. I say Aaron Rodgers has a comeback game, puts up about 300 yards, and the Packers win in dominant fashion by 21 points or more. I got the Vikings. Oh, TJ with the Vikings.
I think Stephon Diggs can have a good game.
Think Stephon Diggs going to have a good game on Jair? What about Aaron Rodgers? Do you think it's going to be his fault, or the Vikings just going to overpower him?
I do agree with you. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think Rodgers will put up 300. I really do. What do you got, Tim?
I believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to go off, and it's going to be a high-scoring game, and it's going to come down to a field goal or a single touchdown.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Before we end, I want to say some surprising players of the week.
All right.
Alright, listen everyone. Josh Allen, you know not the good Josh Allen, the dog crap Bills quarterback Josh Allen, went 21 for 30, 285 yards and 4 touchdowns. No interceptions, had a 139.5 passer rating, clutching up to help the Bills defeat the Jets with a star-studded backfield.
That really was a good game for Josh Allen.
Yes, and also another one of my favorite players, as I mentioned earlier, Josh Jacobs, the rookie running back out of Alabama. 13 carries and 111 yards with a touchdown in his first career game to help the Raiders defeat the Broncos on week 1. Very standout game to start off for Josh Jacobs.
Very good statement game, basically, for Josh Jacobs, as he once said he could be the best running back in a few years.
Yes, I believe so. And we mentioned this name multiple times as he is the biggest surprise of the week, I believe. Danny Amendola with 6 receptions for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Lions destroyed the Cardinals in this week's game. I figured it'd be a close, low-scoring game, but Danny Amendola did not think the same. All right, on to the defensive side of the ball.
Danny Amendola really said the Lions could win something this year. Maybe 5 wins. Maybe 5 wins.
Yes, they might win 3 games. Yes. All right.
All right. Down to the defensive side of the ball. Let's see how we got this.
KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner, both Seahawks players, had 15 tackles each, but it did not matter as the Bengals still throttled the Seahawks, mainly just because of their defensive prowess, getting those 2 pick sixes. And to round it out, Mike Daniels, I believe he's on the Lions. He's old as dirt. He used to be on the Packers. The big boy veteran down there in the backfield, getting 2.5 sacks to help the Lions pass the Cardinals. That's all I wanted to say.
Very surprising players for week 1. Let's see if they can, keep it going throughout the 16 weeks they do have to play. Now, that's enough for us here over at CFP. Now, tune in tomorrow at CBS for the 49ers and Bengals game in Cincinnati. Me and Luke will be covering that.
And TJ, yes, this should be fun.
This will be very fun.
My first live commentary.
First live commentary for Luke, and maybe we can see the Bengals pull out something, or we can see them get destroyed by Nick Bosa and that defense. I'm
getting ready to watch them get railed by the defensive line because their line sucks. Well, anyways, tune in next time.